Today is not about a big promise or a sudden breakthrough. It is about taking control of your direction with small, intentional actions that actually last. Real change does not arrive with noise or excitement. It shows up quietly when a person decides to improve just a little, even on days when effort feels uncomfortable and progress feels slow. That quiet decision is where strength is built and confidence begins to grow. Most people wait for the perfect moment to change. They wait to feel ready, motivated, or inspired. That waiting keeps them stuck. Growth starts when action comes first, not when motivation appears. A small improvement today creates belief. Belief creates momentum. Momentum creates progress that continues long after excitement fades. This year offers a fresh chance to become stronger, sharper, and more disciplined without overwhelming yourself. No pressure to change everything. No demand to become someone else overnight. Just a commitment to be slightly better today than yesterday. That approach removes fear and replaces it with purpose. Every day gives you a choice. You can repeat the same habits and stay the same, or you can improve one small part of your life and move forward. Those small choices shape your future more than any single big decision. Over time, they shape your confidence, your discipline, and your results. This is about building a life you respect through daily action you can maintain. It is about progress you can feel, habits you can trust, and growth that lasts. When you understand the power of improving 1% each day, you stop chasing quick results and start creating real change that stays with you for life. Growth does not arrive all at once. It shows up quietly in small choices made every day, often unnoticed at first. Improvement begins the moment a person accepts that change does not need to be dramatic to be powerful. A 1% improvement sounds small, almost too simple to matter, yet that is exactly why it works. It removes pressure, it removes fear, it makes progress feel possible on good days and bad days alike. When a person commits to getting just a little better today than yesterday, life begins to shift in a steady and reliable way. Many people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they expect too much too fast. They want instant change, fast results, and big wins right away. When that does not happen, they feel discouraged and quit. Real improvement does not work that way. It rewards patience. It rewards consistency. It rewards the person who shows up daily, even when the effort feels small. 1% tomorrow. And soon enough, the distance between who you were and who you are becoming becomes very clear. Think about daily life. The way you wake up, the way you speak to people, the way you handle pressure, the way you spend your free time. None of these habits were formed in a single day. They developed slowly over time through repetition. Improvement follows the same path. When you decide to read a few pages instead of scrolling endlessly, that is progress. When you choose to listen more carefully instead of reacting quickly, that is progress. When you choose to take care of your health with one better decision, that is progress. These moments may feel small, but they shape your future. The beauty of improving 1% each day is that it builds confidence without overwhelming you. You begin to trust yourself. You start to believe that change is possible because you see evidence of it in your daily actions. The mind responds well to progress it can handle. When goals feel too big, the mind resists. When improvement feels manageable, the mind cooperates. That cooperation is where momentum is born. There is also peace in this approach. Instead of feeling rushed or pressured to transform everything at once, you focus on what you can control today. Today is always manageable. Today has a beginning and an end. You can win today. And when you win today, you earn the right to try again tomorrow. Over time, these small wins stack up. They build discipline, they build belief, they build self-respect. Improvement is not about perfection. It is about direction. A person moving slightly forward every day will always outperform someone who waits for the perfect moment to start. Waiting delays growth. action creates growth. Even imperfect action, when repeated consistently, produces results that surprise most people. The key is staying in motion. When you improve 1% daily, you also develop patience with yourself. You stop criticizing every mistake and start learning from it. You understand that setbacks are part of the process, not signs of failure. One difficult day does not erase progress. One missed opportunity is canceled. The important part is returning the next day with the same commitment to improve just a little. This approach also changes how you view time. Days stop feeling wasted because each day has purpose. Even ordinary days become meaningful when they include small progress. Over months, you look back and realize how much has changed. Skills improve, confidence grows, habits strengthen. Life begins to feel more intense. Another powerful effect of small daily improvement is how it reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who grows. That shift matters. Identity influence. When you believe you are a person who improves daily, your actions begin to align with that belief. You make better choices naturally without forcing them. Improving 1% a day also protects you from burnout. Big goals can drain energy when pursued too aggressively. Small improvements conserve energy while still producing results. They allow progress without exhaustion. They allow growth without resentment. This balance is essential for long-term success. The process teaches humility as well. You realize that mastery is built, not claimed. There is always room to learn. There is always space to grow. This mindset keeps you open, curious, and engaged with life. Learning becomes part of who you are, not something you force yourself to do. As days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months, the results become visible. Others may notice before you do. They may comment on your discipline, your calmness, your confidence. What they are seeing is the result of many small decisions made consistently. Decisions that did not seem important at the time, but mattered deeply over time. Improving 1% daily is not about comparing yourself to others. It is about respecting your own journey. Everyone starts from a different place. Everyone moves at a different pace. What matters is that you are moving forward. Comparison steals focus. This way of living builds trust in the process. You stop chasing shortcuts and start valuing consistency. You understand that real change lasts because it is built slowly. When improvement becomes part of your daily routine, it no longer feels like work. It feels like who you are. The year ahead does not require you to become someone else overnight. It simply asks you to show up today with intention. Improve how you think. Improve how you act. Improve how you respond. Improve how you learn. Just 1%. That is enough to change your direction. That is enough to change your future. When you commit to small daily improvement, you are making a promise to yourself, a promise to grow, a promise to learn, a promise to move forward, even when progress feels slow. Over time, that promise becomes the foundation of a stronger, more disciplined, and more confident life. Consistency becomes real when standards are simple enough to live with every day. Most people fail because they set rules they cannot keep. They demand too much from themselves on day one and then feel disappointed when they cannot maintain it. Real growth asks for something different. It asks for standards that fit into real life, not perfect life. Standards that work on busy days, tired days, stressful days, and quiet days. Improvement only becomes powerful when it is repeatable. Daily standards shape behavior more than motivation ever will. Motivation comes and goes. Standards stay. When you decide how you will act regardless of how you feel, you remove confusion from your day. You no longer waste energy deciding whether you should do something. You already decided. This creates calm. It creates clarity. It creates confidence. Life feels lighter when fewer decisions are emotional. A simple daily standard might be reading a few pages, writing a short plan for the day, practicing a skill for a short time, or taking care of your body with one healthy choice. These actions do not require extreme effort. They require intention. They require respect for your future. When standards are realistic, the mind does not resist them. The body cooperates. The habit sticks. Many people confuse ambition with pressure. They believe growth must hurt to matter. That belief causes burnout. Growth does not need pain to work. It needs consistency. Small actions done daily outperform big actions done occasionally. When standards are small, they fit into life naturally. They become part of your identity rather than a task you fight against. Daily standards also protect self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, trust grows. That trust changes how you see yourself. You begin to think differently. You walk differently. You speak differently. Confidence does not come from big achievements alone. It comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. When standards are clear, excuses lose power. You no longer negotiate with yourself all day. You already know what must be done. This saves mental energy. Focus improves, stress reduces, progress becomes smoother. The mind prefers certainty over simple standards allow flexibility without losing direction. Life will interrupt plans. Some days will not go as expected. Simple standards adapt. They bend without breaking. You still move forward, even if the pace slows for a day. Keeps momentum alive. Another benefit of simple standards is emotional stability. When progress depends on mood, results stay inconsistent. When progress depends on standards, results stabilize. You stop riding emotional highs and lows. You stay grounded. This emotional balance improves decision-making and relationships. Standards also teach patience. You stop chasing fast results and start respecting the process. You understand that growth is built daily, not rushed. This patience reduces frustration. You enjoy progress instead of constantly judging it. Simple daily standards also make improvement visible. You can measure consistency easily. You know whether you showed up today. That clarity creates honesty. There is no confusion about effort. You either kept your standard or you did not. This honesty strengthens character. Over time, standards evolve naturally. What starts small becomes stronger without force. What once felt difficult becomes normal. This is how real transformation happens, not through pressure, but through repetition. When daily standards are lived consistently, confidence grows quietly. You do not need external validation. You know you are improving. That inner assurance changes how you face challenges. You become steadier under pressure. You trust yourself more. Simple standards also improve focus. Instead of being distracted by many goals, attention stays on a few meaningful actions. Focus deepens, results improve, life feels less scattered. Growth becomes sustainable when standards fit your life. Not the life you imagine someday, but the life you live now. This honesty keeps. When you respect small daily standards, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You work with what you have. You use the time available. This builds resilience. Resilience builds strength. Improvement becomes a lifestyle rather than a project. You no longer feel like you are starting over every week. You feel steady, grounded, moving forward. This is how 1% improvement becomes powerful. Not through dramatic change, but through simple standards kept daily. That commitment reshapes your future quietly, consistently, and permanently. Improvement becomes real when attention turns to one skill or one habit at a time. Many people try to fix everything at once. They want better health, better income, better focus, better confidence, and better relationships all in the same week. That approach creates stress and confusion. Growth works better when it is focused. When energy is directed toward one area, progress becomes clear and measurable. One skill improved today is enough. One habit strengthened today is enough. A skill grows through use, not intention. A habit grows through repetition, not planning. When you choose one area to improve today, the mind relaxes. It no longer feels overwhelmed. Instead of thinking about everything you should fix, you think about one thing you can improve. That focus increases the quality of effort. Quality matters more than quantity. Daily improvement does not require large blocks of time. It requires attention. A few minutes of focused practice can create more growth than hours of distracted effort. When you work on one skill with full presence, learning deepens. The mind absorbs faster. Confidence builds naturally. Over time, these short, focused sessions add up. Improving one habit at a time also builds patience. You learn to respect the process. You stop rushing growth and start trusting it. This patience reduces frustration. Frustration often comes from expecting fast results from slow processes. When expectations align with reality, peace increases. Habits shape identity. When you improve a habit, you are not just changing behavior, you are changing how you see yourself. A person who reads daily starts to think differently. A person who practices discipline daily begins to trust their ability to follow through. Identity shifts quietly through action. Choosing one habit prevents burnout. When too many changes are attempted at once, energy drains quickly. Focus on one habit conserves energy. It keeps effort sustainable. Sustainability matters more than intensity. Intensity fades. Consistency stays. Skill improvement also sharpens awareness. You begin to notice details you once ignored. Mistakes become teachers rather than discouragements. Feedback becomes useful instead of painful. This mindset accelerates growth. Improving one skill daily builds momentum. Momentum is created when effort feels manageable and progress is visible. Each day of practice reinforces belief. Belief fuels consistency. Consistency produces results. This approach also builds humility. You recognize that mastery takes time. You accept being a beginner again. That humility keeps learning alive. Pride blocks growth. Openness encourages it. Daily habit improvement strengthens discipline without force. Discipline grows through repetition, not pressure. When actions are repeated daily, discipline becomes automatic. Automatic discipline feels effortless. Focus on one habit also simplifies decision-making. You know where your attention goes each day. Fewer decisions mean less mental fatigue. Mental clarity improves performance across all areas of life. Improvement becomes enjoyable when it feels achievable. Enjoyment increases commitment. Commitment sustains progress. This cycle keeps growth alive long-term. Daily skill practice also improves emotional control. You learn to show up even when motivation is low. You learn to act without waiting to feel ready. This emotional maturity improves all areas of life. Over time, small habit improvements reshape routines. Routines shape days. Days shape years. This is how small daily actions transform life direction. Improving one habit today prepares you for improving another tomorrow. Growth compounds. Skills build on each other. Confidence expands naturally. This method teaches respect for time. You learn that time works best when used consistently, not occasionally. A little time daily outperforms a lot of time rarely. The simplicity of this approach removes excuses. One habit, one skill, one day. No complexity, no confusion, just action. As days pass, you notice change not only in results, but in how you think. You feel calmer, more focused, more capable. These internal changes matter as much as external success. Growth becomes part of who you are. Not something you chase, but something you practice. That identity shift is powerful. Improving one skill or habit each day is not small thinking, it is smart thinking. It respects reality, it respects human energy, it respects the long game. This is how 1% improvement becomes unstoppable. One focused action at a time, one habit strengthened daily. One skill sharpened consistently. That path leads to lasting transformation. Progress becomes meaningful when it is observed honestly. Many people work hard but never pause to notice what is improving and what is not. Without reflection, effort becomes directionless. Tracking progress does not require complex systems or heavy analysis. It requires awareness. It requires paying attention to how you show up each day and learning from that experience. When you observe your actions, growth accelerates. Each day leaves evidence. The way you spoke, the way you handled pressure, the way you used your time. These moments tell a story. When you take time to reflect, you begin to understand patterns. You see what works and what needs adjustment. This understanding brings clarity. Clarity reduces wasted effort. Learning from each day builds maturity. Instead of judging yourself harshly, you become curious. You ask what helped today and what slowed you down. Curiosity improves growth, judgment blocks it. When learning replaces self-criticism, progress becomes sustainable. Tracking progress also strengthens accountability. When you know you will reflect, actions become more intentional. You think before you act. You act with purpose. This awareness improves decision-making throughout the day. Progress tracking also builds motivation naturally. Seeing small wins reminds you that effort matters. These wins encourage consistency. Consistency creates momentum. Momentum keeps you moving forward. Learning from daily experience also improves emotional intelligence. You begin to notice how emotions affect behavior. You learn when you are most focused, most patient, most productive. This knowledge allows better planning and better self-control. Reflection does not require long sessions. Even a few quiet moments at the end of the day can bring insight. The value comes from honesty, not length. Honest reflection improves future performance. Daily learning also prevents repeating mistakes. Without reflection, the same errors return. With reflection, mistakes become lessons. Lessons become wisdom. Wisdom improves results. Tracking progress builds self-awareness. Self-awareness improves growth speed. You adjust faster. You recover quicker. You stay aligned with your goals. This practice also reduces frustration. When progress feels slow, reflection reveals growth that may not be obvious. This reduces discouragement. It restores patience. Learning from each day also improves discipline. You become aware of patterns that weaken consistency. Awareness allows correction. Correction strengthens habits. Progress tracking creates a feedback loop. Action leads to reflection. Reflection leads to improvement. Improvement leads to better action. This loop compounds growth. This approach also builds gratitude. You notice effort. You notice learning. You notice progress. Gratitude improves mindset. Mindset influences behavior. Daily reflection builds resilience. You stop being derailed by bad days. You learn from them. Learning turns setbacks into guidance. Tracking progress also improves focus. You become aware of what truly matters. Distractions lose power. Purpose becomes clearer. This habit strengthens patience. Growth feels less rushed. You trust the process because you see evidence of progress. Over time, reflection becomes natural. Learning becomes automatic. Improvement becomes part of daily life. This is how 1% improvement stays on track. Not through force, but through awareness. Not through pressure, but through learning. Each day becomes a teacher. Each experience becomes a lesson. This mindset transforms effort into progress and progress into lasting change. Real change only becomes permanent when consistency stays longer than excitement. Many people begin strong, filled with energy and hope, but stop when progress slows or when results take longer than expected. Transformation does not reward intensity alone. It rewards endurance. It rewards the person who continues when the work feels ordinary and the progress feels quiet. Staying consistent long enough is what separates temporary change from lasting growth. Consistency is built through commitment, not emotion. Feelings change daily. Commitment stays. When you decide that improvement is no longer optional, behavior stabilizes. You stop negotiating with yourself. You act even when motivation is low. This steady action creates reliability. Reliability builds trust in yourself. That trust strengthens. Life will interrupt progress. Busy schedules, stress, and unexpected problems will test your commitment. Consistency does not mean perfection. It means returning to the path quickly after setbacks. One missed day does not undo progress. Quitting does. Learning to restart without guilt keeps growth alive. Staying consistent teaches patience. Results often appear after long periods of quiet effort. This waiting period is where most people quit. Those who continue develop strength others never experience. Strength built through patience lasts longer than motivation driven by excitement. Consistency also, you stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This identity shift influences every area of life. Decisions become easier. Discipline feels natural. Growth becomes expected. Over time, consistent effort simplifies life. Habits replace decision-making. Routines reduce mental strain. Focus improves. Energy increases. Life feels more stable. Consistency also protects self-respect. Each day you show up, even briefly, you reinforce belief in yourself. This belief improves confidence and reduces self-doubt. Transformation happens gradually. Skills sharpen, habits strengthen, mindset matures. These changes often go unnoticed until one day you realize life feels different. That realization is powerful. Staying consistent long enough also builds resilience. You learn to handle slow progress without frustration. You learn to manage setbacks without quitting. This emotional strength supports success in all areas. Consistency turns effort into lifestyle. Improvement becomes part of who you are, not something you force. Makes growth sustainable. Over months, the compound effect becomes visible. Small improvements stack, results expand, opportunities increase, confidence deepens. The journey becomes rewarding not only because of results, but because of who you become along the way. Discipline replaces doubt. Focus replaces confusion. Purpose replaces distraction. Staying consistent also sharpens awareness. You recognize what matters. You stop chasing distractions. You invest energy wisely. Transformation does not announce itself. It reveals itself quietly through daily action. Those who stay consistent experience change that lasts. This path does not require perfection, talent, or luck. It requires persistence. It requires showing up daily with intention. When consistency lasts long enough, life changes. Goals become reality. Confidence becomes natural. Growth becomes permanent. Improving 1% every day may feel slow, but it is unstoppable. Stay with it. Stay patient. Stay committed. Over time, the results will reflect the effort, and the life you build will be stronger than anything you imagined at the start. What matters now is not how powerful this idea sounds, but how faithfully it is lived. 1% each day does not demand perfection, talent, or ideal conditions. It only asks for honesty with yourself and commitment to small daily action. When days feel ordinary and progress feels quiet, that is when growth is actually happening. Stay with it. Protect your habits, respect your standards. Keep improving in small ways even when no one is watching. As the days pass, you will notice changes in how you think, how you act, and how you handle life. Confidence will feel steadier. Discipline will feel natural. Progress will feel earned. Over time, these small improvements will shape your future in ways that cannot be undone. Keep showing up. Keep improving just a little each day. That decision, repeated consistently, is what transforms an ordinary year into a powerful one. The journey of improving 1% every day is not a race, and it is not a momentary push. It is a continuous commitment to yourself that stretches across weeks, months, and years. It is a choice to honor your potential quietly, steadily, and deliberately, knowing that the results of today's efforts will accumulate into something far greater than what can be seen immediately. Life does not change in a single day, but life does change when you decide to move forward consistently, to do a little more, to be a little better, and to respect yourself enough to show up even when progress. The truth is that every small decision matters. Every extra minute spent learning, every habit strengthened, every tiny improvement compounds silently into the person you are becoming. That is the power of daily commitment. That is the power of 1% improvement. Expect challenges because life will not pause for your growth. There will be interruptions, setbacks, moments of fatigue, and times when it feels like nothing is happening. These moments do not mean failure. They are part of the process. Real growth is rarely dramatic in the beginning. It is slow, it is steady, and it is cumulative. A single day of effort might feel insignificant, but each day adds to the last, and suddenly, months later, you realize the distance you have traveled. That is when the power of small, consistent improvement becomes undeniable. The people who succeed are rarely those who chase instant results. They are those who continue quietly, persistently, and intentionally, trusting the process even when the reward is not immediate. Consistency transforms not only your skills and habits, but also your mindset. You begin to trust yourself more deeply. You stop relying on fleeting motivation and start relying on your discipline. You discover that self-respect is earned in the repetition of actions rather than in the applause of others. Every time you show up, even when you feel tired, uncertain, or uninspired, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. That trust strengthens confidence, focus, and resilience in ways that shortcuts never can. Each day you keep your commitment builds a foundation that carries you through challenges you could never have anticipated. This is how ordinary people develop extraordinary lives, not through sudden breakthroughs, but through persistent, steady action. Growth through 1% improvement teaches patience, humility, and awareness. You learn that change is rarely linear and that setbacks are part of the learning process. You learn to observe your habits and patterns without judgment, to identify what works and what slows progress, and to adjust accordingly. You understand that failure is not a stopping point, but a signal to refine your approach. The journey also teaches. You notice how your moods affect your effort, how your reactions influence your results, and how patience and reflection guide better choices. Over time, you develop the ability to act with calm focus, even under pressure, because consistency has trained you to rely on actions, not feelings. This internal mastery becomes the greatest reward of all. The power of improving 1% daily is not limited to measurable outcomes like skills, income, or physical fitness. It extends to the very way you live. Your attitude improves, your patience grows. Your relationships strengthen because you are more present, more disciplined, and more intentional in your actions. Your perspective shifts from chasing immediate success to cultivating sustainable growth. You begin to value progress itself, not just results. And in doing so, life begins to feel more manageable, more purposeful, and more rewarding because you are living intentionally rather than reacting to circumstances. Consistency also protects you from the trap of comparison and impatience. When you focus on yourself and your own small improvements, you stop measuring your progress against others. You stop worrying about what everyone else is doing or achieving. You focus on your daily choices, your habits, and your growth. That focus prevents distraction, conserves energy, and strengthens the foundation for long-term success. Comparison steals time, confidence, and peace. 1% improvement each day returns those resources to you, allowing you to invest them in yourself and in actions that matter. Over months and years, the cumulative effect of this approach becomes undeniable. The small actions that seemed insignificant in the moment compound quietly. Habits become automatic. skills become sharper, confidence becomes steady, your resilience strengthens, your focus deepens, and one day you look back and realize that the person you are today is far stronger, more capable, and more disciplined than the person you were months ago. That transformation is not magic. It is the direct result of showing up, of committing to growth, and of respecting the power of small, consistent improvements. Finally, understand that improving 1% every day is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about showing up consistently, learning from mistakes, and returning stronger when setbacks occur. It is about building a life that reflects your commitment to yourself, a life that is guided by discipline, patience, and integrity. Every single day matters, every choice matters, every action matters. And when you continue this approach day after day, week after week, and month after month, you create a life that is unstoppable. You create a future that is undeniable. You create a version of yourself that is prepared, capable, and confident to face anything life brings. Stay patient, stay disciplined, stay committed to improving just 1% every day. Protect your habits, protect your focus, protect. Over time, you will look back and realize that these small daily decisions, repeated consistently, have shaped not only your results, but the person you have become. The power of improving 1% each day is quiet, steady, and unstoppable. It is in your hands, and the life you desire is built one small, deliberate improvement at a time. Your future will reflect the effort you invest today, and that future starts now.